What's up, everybody? On today's show, Georgia alum Matthew Stafford wins his first Super Bowl, leading the Los Angeles Rams over Joe Burrow and the Bengals. The Auburn drama with Bryan Harsin appears to be over for now. We'll update you on the latest on the Plains. And it was a big weekend of SEC hoops. We'll get you up to date with the latest standings there. Locked on SEC starts right now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. It's great to have you guys along. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. I'm Chris Gordy. Thanks for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. And, of course, a reminder, Locked On SEC is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube and at LockedOnSEC.com. Let's jump into it because, man, what a Super Bowl it was on Sunday night. It was competitive. It came down to the wire, but in the end, former Georgia Bulldog Matthew Stafford and 13 former SEC players helped the Los Angeles Rams capture the Super Bowl win over the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday night. Aaron Donald, the Rams defensive star, made a late pressure on former LSU star Joe Burrow on fourth down and forced an incomplete pass. But Stafford was the star as he engineered a 15-play drive that covered 79 yards in 4 minutes and 48 seconds, eventually finding Cooper Kupp for the go-ahead one-yard touchdown pass to give the Rams a 23-20 victory. Donald's pressure then sealed the victory as Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the Bengals will look ahead to next season. On that decisive drive, Matthew Stafford completed 7 of 11 passes for 57 yards. And 13 seasons in the league for Stafford. He is now a Super Bowl champion. Some other former SEC players on the Rams who will get their Super Bowl rings. Odell Beckham, the former LSU star. Tight end Kendall Blanton played at Missouri. Bobby Brown, the D lineman from A&M. Blake Countess, the cornerback from Auburn. Leonard Floyd, of course, the big Georgia pass rusher. Van Jefferson, Florida Gator, who stepped up big in this game once Odell Beckham went down with injury. Ernest Jones, the linebacker from South Carolina. Terrell Lewis, linebacker from Alabama. Sonny Michel got some action, a running back from Georgia. Von Miller, the big Texas A&M Aggie, he had his presence felt with a couple of sacks. Brandon Powell, Florida wide receiver, who was returning on special teams. Ashawn Robinson, the big D lineman from Alabama, was helping shut down the run. Andrew Whitworth, the legendary LSU offensive lineman who is 40 years old, may have just played his last football game, but he finally goes out on top, winning a Super Bowl ring. But Matthew Stafford, the big winner of the night, former Georgia Bulldog, all those seasons wasted away in Detroit, finally played for something meaningful, winning the Super Bowl. Some other stories from the night: former Florida Gator Vernon Hargreaves received one of the more boneheaded penalties in Super Bowl history as he ran out on the field out of uniform as the Bengals celebrated an interception. It came after a pick by Bengals DB Jesse Bates, who intercepted Matthew Stafford. The Bengals got a touchback out of it, but Hargreaves ran on the field, not in uniform. He appeared in just 4 games with 1 start this season for the Bengals after he played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then the Houston Texans. Another former Florida Gator, Evan McPherson, he had a field goal and an extra point in the first half for the Bengals, but he came out at halftime and took in the halftime show. The kicker was caught by NBC cameras watching the halftime show with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and others, and he stayed out there. He did not go in the team with the locker room at halftime. His move wasn't a surprise. He did hint at it before the Super Bowl. He told TMZ, "I will be super bummed if I can't at least watch the halftime show on a TV or something. I hope I get to watch it." McPherson was a perfect 2 for 2 on field goals in the game. So him missing halftime in the locker room with his team didn't really seem to matter. But on the night for the Bengals, quarterback Joe Burrow, the most disappointed, I think. his play was not bad. He was 22 for 33 for 263 yards with a touchdown. A lot of LSU fans were rooting hard for Joe Burrow. His LSU teammate Jamar Chase had a nice night. He finished with 5 catches for 89 yards, as well as 1 carry for 4 yards. And the former Auburn tight end C.J. Uzomah had 2 catches for 11 yards. But look, second year at LSU, Joe Burrow went undefeated, led LSU to a national championship and won a Heisman Trophy. Second year with the Cincinnati Bengals, he led a Cincinnati team that nobody thought could get to the Super Bowl. He led them to the game, just came up short. So, again, 2 really good SEC quarterbacks going head-to-head, and Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow. And unfortunately, one of them had to lose. This one, Joe Burrow loses. Matthew Stafford gets his. But, of course, Stafford's got about a decade plus in the league over Joe Burrow. So we will see if Joe Burrow and company will be back. But the dynamic LSU duo between Burrow and Chase will be one that NFL teams are going to have to deal with for many years to come. So congrats to Matthew Stafford, and best of luck to Joe Burrow moving forward into the future. All right, when we return here on Locked On SEC, we're going to get to the big news that came out on Friday as Auburn is standing by Bryan Harsin. Not really a surprise, but finally we got some resolution. We'll get you up to date on that in just a second. Thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. And of course, football is over now, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. For all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all of your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news throughout the year. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, UFC odds, right down to your Olympic coverage and information. Head on over to their website today. You can do so on your mobile device. Learn about the trends and the action. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Going along here, Locked On SEC, and man, Friday afternoon was a busy one, especially if you're an Auburn fan. So I figured instead of going around the conference, we'll go around Auburn. But let's do it. Let's go around the conference.
Boots out to the right. Makes the handoff. What a catch! Around the conference.
And Friday afternoon, Auburn President Jay Gogue came out and released a lengthy statement updating the status of the football program and head football coach Bryan Harsin following a week-long inquiry and turmoil that centered around Bryan Harsin and his status as the head coach. Gogue called it an evaluation of concerns after the program saw some 18 players transfer, 5 assistant coaches leave the program in recent weeks. He said, quote, "I am equally pleased to confirm that Bryan Harsin remains our head football coach." Harsin described it as one of the hardest weeks of his career and it had nothing to do with his coaching ability. He said, "I'm just proud to be your head coach." Now, Jay Gogue did put out another statement later on Friday in support of Harsin. He said, "Let me be clear. Our university, the administration, and the entire board of trustees stand behind Coach Bryan Harsin, and we are ready to help him succeed as the leader of our football program. It's my hope and expectation that the entire Auburn family will join us in uniting behind Coach Harsin. With that support, I have no doubt that Auburn football's best days are ahead of us." Now, Friday evening, Auburn Athletic Director Alan Green, he made his first public comments on the Harsin situation. He said, "I'm confident that the Auburn family rally behind the tremendous young men in the Auburn football program, Coach Harsin and his dedicated staff who are collectively working towards a bright future." He said, "It's my hope and expectation the entire Auburn family will join us in uniting behind Coach Harsin." Look, we get it. That's what the administration is trying to say. Basically, they looked into some of the allegations and things that are out there, couldn't find anything substantial enough that could force them to fire Bryan Harsin with cause. And of course, you had a player movement here the last week or so of players sticking up for Bryan Harsin, saying, "Look, come talk to us. We'll tell you right now, he's a great coach, and we don't want to see him go. So Bryan Harsin, staying put, not going anywhere. But man, oh man, he does need to turn things around, at least how they were trending these last 5 games of the season for Auburn, because it was not pretty. And particularly the Iron Bowl that they had Alabama beat until they didn't. So definitely need to hit the ground running next season and see some market improvement there for Bryan Harsin's squad. Now, Zach Etheridge, some good news. Auburn secondary coach and recruiting coordinator under Bryan Harsin. A report surfaced earlier last week that he was a candidate for Georgia's open DB's coaching spot. Saturday night, Etheridge took to Twitter to squash those rumors. He released a brief video that included an emphatic announcement that he is all in with the Auburn Tigers. So now that the Bryan Harsin saga is over with, keeping Zach Etheridge at Auburn is a good early win for the Tigers this offseason. Now, one other note on Auburn, Bryan Harsin is going to be in search of another defensive assistant after a report from ESPN's Dan Graziano came out that the Denver Broncos are planning to hire Burt Watts. He said, I'm told the Broncos will hire Burt Watts to be their outside linebackers coach. Watts is currently the associate head coach, special teams, and outside linebackers coach at Auburn. He said following a couple of stints as a college defensive coordinator, this reported move came after Watts was given the additional title of associate head coach at Auburn last month. It's the 4th assistant to leave Auburn this offseason, joining defensive line coach Nick Eason, defense coordinator Derek Mason, and offense coordinator Austin Davis, along with Mike Boba, who was fired for Auburn. Watts spent the past season at Memphis as linebackers coach after 3 seasons at Fresno State. In addition to special teams duties, where punter Oscar Chapman led the SEC in net punting, Watts oversaw Auburn's edge rusher position. Pass rusher Derek Hall was 3rd in the SEC in sacks at the end of the regular season. So, again, Bryan Harsin going to have to replace some more positions on the staff, but at least having the backing of the university and knowing he will be back, I guess is a good thing when it's all said and done. But again, got to continue to recruit. Got to continue to look at that transfer portal. We've had a lot of guys exit. And whoever your OC hire is better be a good one. So, a lot of things still up in the air at Auburn, but at least Bryan Harsin not going anywhere. When about a week ago, it didn't look that way. It sounded like, things were trending in the direction that Harsin was going to be gone. So, if you're an Auburn fan, happy or not, Bryan Harsin is your guy moving forward. And there you have it. That is the latest over on the Plains with Bryan Harsin and the Auburn Tigers. When we return, quick thought on the SEC men's basketball standings after a busy weekend around the conference. That is coming your way next. Thanks again for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. And, of course, this is that time of year that a lot of you are giving up on your New Year's resolutions. You're probably getting back to the soda, the candy, and the stuff you shouldn't be eating, but would like to offer a healthy alternative, and that is our friends over at Built Bar. If you haven't tried the Built Bar Puffs yet, you are missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. The Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, marshmallowy. They're not just a protein bar. They are a treat, and they are covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors, from the cinnamon churro to the coconut marshmallow to banana cream pie. They're all so good, and they're going to be your new favorites. All Built Bars covered in 100% real chocolate, including the Puffs. Go check them out right now on their website, built.com. When you go there, you can use our promo code LOCKED15. That's going to get you 15% off your order. Use the promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off your order at built.com. At Built Bar, they're all about the taste, and they make it taste delicious first. Figure out what you want to order and get it in your cart, and then use that promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off at built.com. Going along here, Locked On SEC. Thank you again for making us your first listen every day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that Super Bowl on Sunday night. Matthew Stafford getting off the snide, getting his first Super Bowl win. Joe Burrow taking his first Super Bowl loss. SEC tournament will be here very soon when it comes to SEC basketball, and then the NCAA tournament after that. So let's jump into it, man. Plenty to recap from the weekend that was in SEC basketball, and men's basketball hitting their stretch run. Saturday slate of games, the top 4 teams have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Auburn currently holds the lead in the race for the SEC regular season title at 11-1 in the conference, 23-2 overall, followed closely by Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Kentucky sits at 10-2, Tennessee 9-3 in the conference, and Arkansas 8-4. Behind that, it is a couple teams just keeping their seasons, or not seasons alive, but postseason punches to the tournament alive in LSU, Alabama, and Florida, all 6-6 in the conference. Then you have Mississippi State at 5-6, South Carolina 5-7, Vanderbilt 5-7, Mizzou's 4-7, A&M 4-8. Bottom of the barrel, Ole Miss sitting there at 3-9, and Georgia 1-11. Over the weekend, Kentucky, they rolled to their 6th straight win Saturday, blowing out Florida 78-57 after a huge second half performance. But Ty Washington left the game with an injury. His status remains up in the air during the second half of action. Washington collided with Florida's Brandon McKissick while going for a loose ball. Washington appeared to be in significant pain, left directly for the locker room. He was ruled out with a lower leg injury. Now, John Calipari talked about Ty Washington. He said, look, it's a left lower leg injury. For now, he is listed as day-to-day. That seems like a good sign after what appeared to be an extremely painful incident for Ty. Now, in the win, it was Oscar Sheblay who provided yet another incredible outing for Kentucky. He posted a double-double, led all players with a game-high 27 points and 19 rebounds. 10 of Sheblay's rebounds came off the offensive glass, so he has been a rebound machine. He becomes the first SEC player in the past 25 years with 5 games of 20 or more points and 15 or more rebounds in a single season. For Florida, Colin Castleton led the way for them with 18 points and 7 rebounds. As a team, the Gators shot just 5 for 22 from three-point range. Kentucky continues to play strong heading down the stretch of the season, but for now, the biggest question will be about Ty Washington and what the status of his health is moving forward. The Auburn Tigers, they got it done yet again, and Walker Kessler did a little bit of everything on Saturday as Auburn bounced back with a win over Texas A&M. Remember, they lost their midweek game last week at Arkansas, but bounced back with the win over A&M. Walker Kessler posted a triple-double, 12 points, 12 blocks, and 11 rebounds in the Tigers' 75-58 win over the Aggies. It was Kessler's second triple-double of this year. Auburn News noted that Kessler is the 5th SEC player ever to record multiple triple-doubles. His last triple-double came on December 29th of 2021. Saturday's triple-double for Kessler was only the 3rd in Auburn history. Kenny Gabriel at Auburn's other triple-double in January of 2012. Bruce Pearl had very high praise for Walker Kessler following the game. Now, some other scores from the weekend. LSU beat Mississippi State in Baton Rouge 69-65. So that quickly, LSU's won a couple games in a row. Tari Eason led the way with 23 points and 6 rebounds. Iverson Molinar had 26 points for Mississippi State. Other games from Saturday, Tennessee, they beat up on Vanderbilt 73-64. The Vols improved to 18-6 overall. They're starting to figure things out. By the way, Scottie Pippen had 23 points in the loss for Vanderbilt. One of the exciting games for the weekend, Alabama ending Arkansas's 9-game win streak, beating them 68-67 in Tuscaloosa. Noah Gurley scored Alabama's final 4 points, including the winning go-ahead bucket with 27 seconds remaining. Keon Ellis had 7 points and 5 rebounds also for Alabama. South Carolina, they beat Georgia 80-68. Keyshawn Bryant had 22 points and 6 boards for them. And Missouri beat Ole Miss out in Como 74-68. Kobe Brown led the way for Mizzou with 13 points and 6 rebounds. Jarkel Joyner had 13 points for Ole Miss. And we will get back into SEC hoops action tomorrow night, Tuesday. You will have South Carolina at Ole Miss, Florida at A&M, Kentucky at Tennessee will be a really good one, and then Mizzou will go up to, or Arkansas will go up to Mizzou, and then on Wednesday, 3 more games of the conference. Georgia at LSU, a must-win for the Tigers. Mississippi State at Alabama, and Vanderbilt takes their talents over to Auburn Arena. And there you have it. Those are your games looking ahead to this week in SEC hoops. That is just about going to do it for this edition of Locked On SEC. Again, my thanks to you guys for checking us out, making us your first listen every day. And a reminder, you can always make your second listen. Check out the Locked On Bets podcast with your boy Q and Lee Sterling, giving you all the picks that you need. Of course, now that the football season is over, turn the page and just focus strictly on basketball. But we'll have baseball starting up this week. Of course, college baseball, SEC getting underway. It was a fun weekend of watching some SEC teams in action in softball who got their season started this past weekend. But speaking of SEC baseball, we'll have a couple conversations this week with Jay Johnson, the new head coach of the LSU Tigers, as well as Jim Schlossnagle, the new head coach at Texas A&M. We'll have those conversations for you throughout this week. Also, we'll have a couple conversations with some former SEC football players who will be or taking their talents to the next level, preparing for the NFL draft. We're going to catch up with Ole Miss linebacker Chance Campbell and also South Carolina DB Jalen Foster. Both those guys will join the show this week as well. So we got a loaded week full of guests, and make sure you're subscribing, catching it all for you right here on Locked On SEC. I'm Chris Gordy. You guys have a great start to the week. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow right here on Locked On SEC.